begin the special board meeting for the Port Arthur Economic Development Corporation. May I have a roll call, please? Here.
Roosevelt Petrie, Rhonda Counters. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Mr. Dallas Smith, you give us the implication, please?
Father God, we come this evening first giving you all glory, honor, and praise. Father God, we thank you for waking us up this morning and getting us here this evening, oh Father God. We thank you. We ask, oh Father God, that everything that we do this evening be done decent and in order. Father God, we ask it in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Pledge. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We all have a copy of our minutes from the June 7th regular board meeting. We have a motion to approve.
So move.
It's been moved and second that we approve our minutes from June. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. No presentations. We have one communication. Mr. Baptiste.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, in your package you have a communication from the Chamber of Commerce. This is a membership luncheon. It's going to be August the 25th. At that particular luncheon, you're going to have your South County legislators updating. As you guys could see from the advertisement, Jeff Brannick, County Judge Brannick, State Representative Phelan, State Senator Creighton, and State Representative Joe Desertel will be giving an update on the legislature. My suggestion is, if you can attend, I think this would be very good information to know what's going on at the state level, and those are the folks that we would certainly want to get this information from. So if you guys would contact Joni, if you're interested in going, let her make the necessary accommodations for you guys. So, I would certainly like to see everybody attending.
Thank you. Next, we have our reports. Our workforce development report. Renata.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
I'm going to start off with our youth employment program. Interns are working daily. Employers seem to be pleased with the work ethic that's currently happening. I've actually talked with a couple of interns, and they are very impressed, and they're learning a lot of things this summer being placed with an employer locally here in Port Arthur. To date, the interns have received their second paycheck. They're really, really happy about that. And I just want to let you guys know that I do communicate with them on a pretty much a bi-weekly basis. The newsletter is in your packet. The newsletter is currently circulating throughout the households. It's a very lengthy newsletter, but a lot of great information enclosed in the newsletter. And as you can see, it highlights our scholarship recipients, our press building, and different things that's coming down in downtown. And it also highlights our medic program that we currently have going on, as well as our finance. So it's a whole overview of everything that's going on inside of the EDC. Our CDL program, the CDL class A and B, coming along well. Local citizens are eagerly, I get on a weekly basis, I'm gonna say about 5 people that are actually interested in entering into the CDL class A and B. Matter of fact, I had a couple of people call today. A lady, she called from Orange, but I told her she wasn't eligible, but kind of sent another route to see what they had available out there. But we do have people that are actually coming in really interested in that Class A and Class B. I did reach out because I did tell you guys last month that I was going to have a quarterly report. So I did reach out to Amber. I hadn't received that quarterly report in regards to where they are as far as progression is concerned. But once I get that, I will shoot it out to each one of you. Acadian Ambulance, the program has started. And the class is pretty much, it was filled to capacity. We kind of went over, but from conversing with George and just being on the call, we don't have that to worry about at this time. All student documentation has been sent to purchasing, and the relevant forms have been filled out. We're just waiting for a couple of gaps to be filled on their end. We're waiting on some guidelines to be turned in so that stipends can start circulating and going into the hands of those students. The scaffolding program, as mentioned in last month's meeting, we did have one to actually complete that program, and he's still waiting employment. I hadn't received any update as far as employment is concerned. And also, if you look on your breakout, I do have just a screenshot. We do have our newsletter on the website as well for those that are computer savvy and they carry electronics in their hand. So that is up on the website as well. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Any questions?
Actually, no. The person actually wants to enter into a CDL class, but they don't live in Port Arthur, so we can't. Yeah, we can't help them. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes. What happened is, I think it was an overage that had took place, and from that overage, we, of course, you guys voted, and only 20 of them could be paid for. So I think at this time, George, how many do they currently have? I
Well,
don't-
like she said originally, we didn't know the class was going to be that big. Actually, well, let me share. Originally, we didn't know that they were going to have that many people. Acadia didn't know it was going to be that much. So we set the number at 20. They got 33 to start the class. But then in speaking with them, of course, people have started dropping because they didn't think it was going to be as difficult as it is. So right now, the last time I spoke with the people, they said that it's 18. So we're back under that, 20, that threshold of having 20 people. So we were going to come to you guys originally asking to pay for that extra 13, but we don't have to worry about it because since last meeting, we've had the drop off. Yeah. And, from how she's talking, I hate it, but, it is what it is. We're not even going to, use that whole, 18 today, it won't be the same in, 10 more weeks? So we're okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, Renata.
You're welcome.
Program compliance, Crystal.
Okay, I just passed out to you a letter from Team Fabricators that I failed to add into the packet with my report, but that is just a supplement to my report for you guys tonight. It will be short and sweet this time. It's been pretty quick and slow month this month. But Team Fabricators, they did provide us with their operational and employment status report. The expansion of their facility is complete. They do have some small projects around the facility that are still being worked on, but the majority of their expansion has been completed. The facility looks great. They are working one shift at the moment. They do plan to increase to at least 2 shifts in the coming months as the volume of their work increases. They have 43 employees on staff at this time, of which 11 of them are Port Arthur residents. And as you see in their letter to you all, they are working very closely with the school district and trying to get students out there. Unfortunately, They did want to participate in the summer youth program with Ms. McLean Lee, but we did not have any students available to put at their facility this year. So hopefully next year, with kids going back to school, we might have a better pool to be able to provide them with some students for the program. As far as your approvals from last month, the lease agreement with the Chamber of Commerce has been approved for renewal. Meathead Trucking's land lease agreement has been approved for termination by council. And amendment number 1 to the incentive agreement with Ray's Bakery has also been approved by City Council. So those will be moving forward. I do have 2 other things on your agenda tonight for discussion, but those will be for your consideration later on. So those will come up later on. And it concludes my report. If anybody has any questions.
I had a question. Any news on where Standard Alloy is with their process?
Standard Alloys still has, Entergy has done some work out there, but they are not complete with the full installation of all of the needs for their electricity out there. They have sent in their payroll status report. They are on target. So they're very good at keeping in contact with us and making sure they're getting us everything they need. So they are on target with as far as what the requirements are for their agreement. But we have not paid out their full incentive yet because they do have to complete some of that electrical installation that they have. So once they do that second phase of the electrical installation, we can finish out paying their incentive.
Let me say, Commissioners, on Standard, the additional electricity, remember we came back and we awarded them some additional funds. That is for the phase 2. There's more power that have to be brought, and I think we awarded those folks $300,000. They have to put up close to $1 million and a half more than that. I'm not sure how much to bring the additional power, but it's for the phase 2. Right now, they are currently moving into the building for phase 1. There's three phases to this project. So the additional electricity that Crystal talking about is to accommodate phase 2.
And they should be moved into their facility by the end of the summer. Phase 2, I think, includes...
That's going to be an additional construction there.
Yeah.
They just need the electricity for the additional building. My understanding is supposed to be for heavy motor testing. Motor testing. But that's going to be additional building. Remember, they purchased 22 acres of land. They're only using about 10 acres right now.
So right now, it's just their administration offices and more like a warehouse facility. But I'm not sure on when they plan on starting phase 2, but I can try to get a date for you guys. You're welcome.
We now have our financial report.
Good evening, Board. First, let me start by having you make a correction on your first sheet. The actual numbers shows up to May 31st. You just crossed that out. It's actually to June 30th. I inadvertently forgot to change that. So we'll begin with our statement of revenue, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. And I'll start by telling you we really didn't have a whole lot of changes. We had some adjustments in these numbers this month, but we didn't have a whole lot of activity this month to report. Our sales tax revenue was predicted for fiscal year 2020 at $4,400,000. As of June 30th, 2021, there's $3,595,184, leaving an unrealized revenue for fiscal year 2021 of $804,816. Projection for interest revenue was $75,000. As of June 30th, 2021, $13,538, leaving an unrealized revenue for fiscal year 2021 at $61,462. Loan repayment was estimated at $57,651. Actual is $52,706, leaving an unrealized revenue of $4,946. Rental income was estimated at $144,548. As of June 30th, 2021, the actual is $49,731, leaving an unrealized revenue of $94,817. Business park assessment fees was estimated at $70,715. The actual, as of June 30th, is $53,473, leaving an unrealized revenue of $17,242. Land sales was estimated at $287,500. Our actual is $343,559. As of June 30th, we are over by $56,059, which is great for us, additional revenue. Land lease was estimated at $10,800. Actual as of June 30th is $6,300, leaving an unrealized revenue of $4,500. We did not estimate a miscellaneous. However, our actual is $35, which also gives us a $35 more than we estimated. As of, we predicted $5,046,214,000 in revenue. Our actual revenue as June 30th, 2021 is $4,114,527, leaving us an unrealized revenue of $931,688. Our expenditures under personnel services, $653,536. Supplies and maintenance, supplies, $8,994,000. Maintenance, $29,963. Contractual services, $2,125,190. Capital outlay, $75,136. As of June 30th, 2021, our total expenditures is $2,892,819. That leaves an excess of revenue of $2,153,395. Our transfer in and transfer out did not change. It's the same as it was last month. Those debt service was not recorded, so it's still the same. But after we take into consideration our debt service of $866,533, we'll have a net change in fund balance of $1,286,862. Our fund balance at the beginning of the year was estimated at $4,501,694. Our fund balance at the end of the year is estimated as of June 30th at $5,788,556. I can tell you that our taxes this month, was not recorded because the actual system was down, but I think Mr. Baptiste had a chance to peek at it before it went down, so.
Yeah, I don't have the actual dollar amount, but I think we was about 12% higher than our previous month, so we're doing real good in sales tax in Port Arthur.
So I can tell you as of June 30th, 2021, your budget still is strong. I don't see any problems. We're still kind of making adjustments and moving money. The press building, of course, is still our main priority right now, getting that finished. So it's gonna be numbers you're gonna see that kind of change up and down. If it's anything that's significant or anything that I need to call your attention to, I'll let you know at that time. Are there any questions? Sure. Can you get to the mic, please?
It projected 144,548, and you've only received 49,000. 731. What's going on with that?
Where are you?
On the rental income.
The rental income?
Yes, and the revenues, the rental income.
So, okay, what's your question again? I'm sorry, I didn't know where you were.
Okay, you projected 144,548,
Correct.
and we only received 49,731. Why is that? It looks low to me.
And it might be. I will be honest with you today, I was having problems with my Excel. And I'm not sure if I get to my office, I probably could see. Let's see.
Well, I think, Rachel, first thing, we may have overestimated
We always
rental, and we did lose $9,000 a month for the last 2 months. We lost about $27,000 with Meathead, so we may have overestimated, you know?
Okay, we did overestimate, and not only there on our sales, we're nearly $1 million overestimated in sales. Where are these numbers coming from?
Well, our sales tax is estimated. We get all our estimates based on historical fact. So we'll take a look at our past tax revenue from previous years, and we'll try to estimate as close as we can, sometimes we're over, how much that we will receive in revenue for the upcoming year.
But when you say sales,
Sales and use tax, yes, sir.
okay,
Sales tax is what we get from the controller's office every month. We don't know how much sales tax. It could be up or down based upon
right. But in this case, I would have thought the pandemic would have had a role in some of that too. I would have thought that when this number was put together, that some consideration would have been everybody locked in, people not doing, and I would have thought that they would have realized the sales would have been lower.
Well, not real. Well, I guess so, Mr. Petrie, but in reality, the pandemic was February of 2020. No one predicted at all that it would last as long as it's lasting. We put in our projections starting in March, April, early on. So in reality, we start our projections at the same time that pandemic happened. We can't predict how long it's going to last. No one thought it was going to last that long.
But initially, they were talking 18 to 24 months.
Yeah.
Initially, they were saying it was going to last 18 to 24 months, and then they kind of backed off of it.
So to answer your question, no, we did not take that into consideration.
No.
We went on our historical facts as we normally do to get to that number.
Let me say, Mr. Petrie, we look at historical numbers like Rachel was saying, and we projected $4.4 million. This year, you will probably receive $5.2 million, even with the pandemic. So sales tax been up, you know. We projected low but we're gonna, in the end, you probably.
No, we actually projected high.
No, we projected low. We projected 4.4 million.
Okay.
And we probably will receive 5.2 million.
Well, as of June 30th.
By the end of the year. I'm talking about by the end of the fiscal year.
I'm just saying, as of right now, okay, as of right now, we're at, okay, so this is going to October.
It goes through September.
So the actual column at 3 million?
July, August, and September, 3 more months. 3 more months of sales tax.
Okay. Okay. Why didn't you say that?
No, I'm asking you, is it okay? Are you know?
I'm good.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much.
Great, no problem. Any other questions? Thank you. Y'all have a nice evening.
The only other thing I will say, I think we project about 5 acres of land, so we sell every year. We probably will sell an additional, well, we close in on 4 acres, right?
Yeah.
Right, so that's not on here. That's at 240,000. Right, and then we got 3 more acres. So you probably will be about close to 400,000 or 500,000 higher than we projected in land sale. You know, these are all projection that we project, and we try to be very conservative in our projection. Uh, but I think overall, you're going to have a pretty good year, even with the conditions that we have gone through in this last year, 12 months.
Thank you. You have a nice evening.
Good evening, Board. So we have a lot to report this month. Construction is still moving along as planned. The contractor does state that they will be ready for Lamar to to have access to their space as of July 26th. Spectrum will have the internet installed as of the 25th. The plumber has installed the necessary gas lines to the building and the city inspector has approved it. So Texas Gas Service will be out there to set the meter tomorrow. The slab has finally been poured for our area of the building. You know, we kept having rain delays, but we've got a slab and we've got some beams on Area A. The co-working space. In the Lamar and EOC area, the drywall has been floated, tape textured on both the first and second floors. We walked it the other day. They were prepping the paint. The signage has been reviewed and ordered. Texas Fire is on site and they are installing the fire alarm with the cellular backup. So that's moving along. Spectrum's getting ready to install the phone line for the elevator. DataVox has completed hanging all the hooks, pulling all the cable, doing everything they need to do for the Lamar and EOC area. The restaurant RFP is scheduled to be published on Wednesday because the board did say they wanted to go back out for RFP. The delay is not on us, that was on the city's purchasing department, but it is scheduled to be published for the first time on Wednesday of this week. I did get a call from Ms. Bob today saying that she no longer is interested in the restaurant. I know she has some other ventures going on, and she's gonna send an email to confirm that. The terms for the Lamar lease are on the agenda tonight for your approval, and we're still working on the website. So the building is moving along great. As far as the lab, I've met with 12 businesses over the last 2 weeks that are interested in what we have to offer to them. 3 of those were nonprofits, and I have 8 more meetings scheduled between now and the 20th of July. There have been 5 formal requests via letter of interest for our long-term office space. We only have 9 of those in the building. So I anticipate that not only will we be full when it's time to open, we'll have a waiting list for businesses that want to rent long-term office space in that building. I've met with 4 nonprofits that are interested in leasing conference room space and day desk, and the flex classrooms to have meetings. One focuses on young women in Port Arthur between the ages of 5 and 18, and I just got a phone call before the board meeting, one focusing on young men. So they already have conferences that they have in place that they want to schedule in our building before the end of the year. So I don't think renting space in that building is going to be an issue. I think it's going to be very busy. I spoke with Michael Savoy, the artist that is painting the big mural, and the 3 paintings for the lounge area, the 3 abstracts for the lounge area are complete. The mural will be complete by mid-August, so I'm excited about that. And last week, I met with a local artist who is going to start up Port Arthur Arts Alliance. And just like we have something for entrepreneurs, we're gonna have something for creatives, for those persons who actually create art. We're gonna have a living gallery. Local artists can hang their artwork in the building, and it would be for sale, but the transaction would be between the customer and the artist. We wouldn't have anything to do with that, but I think it would be nice to have a gallery space for artists downtown. So that's kicking off on August 12th. So it's been a busy month. Any questions? I am. I'm actually. Any day you want to go, I normally go on Fridays. I am going tomorrow at 3:30, but we'll be visiting more often than once a week now that we're, pushing towards that punch deadline of July 25th. So any day you want to go, late afternoon works best because most of the contractors are gone for the day. Just let me know.
The only thing I'm going to say to Kate, I think with what's going on, I think we need a, a blanket lease agreement where we could just fill in the blank because we're communicating with a lot. Like Janice said, we have probably 5, 6 space already being asked for. So if we could put some type of draft where, okay,
And also on the agenda next month will be the furniture purchase, the software purchase, and we're gonna ask for a blanket lease, just a lease amount for you guys to decide upon a lease amount so that when I'm negotiating lease terms, I already know what their cost is per square foot.
right. And the only other thing I would like to mention with the art gallery, we are working with the Gulf Coast Museum on that.
We are. hmm Yeah, local artists and couple of people from the Arts Alliance of Southeast Texas. So, busy.
We have a estimate date of when the whole building gonna be completed.
Late September, early October.
Okay, and are there gonna be some people moving in prior to that date?
Lamar and the EOC. All of
Okay.
the rest of the offices are on our side, on the co-working space. So they won't be moving in until that part of the building is complete and we have our certificate of occupancy.
It won't, the work that needs to be completed, that won't interfere with the people working.
No,
And you have set up some kind of precautions.
Yeah.
correct.
They are putting a barrier wall between Lamar Building and our building where it would be totally, it will be a barrier wall.
Say Lamar building?
The
Space.
space.
Between the Lamar
Okay.
space and our side, there's gonna be a barrier wall.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, Jana. We now have our CEO report.
And so, again, I am excited about what's going on with the EOC. I will tell you, guys, the press building. We did have a conference call with the architects. Yes, Friday. They feel very positive about where we are in the building. So I feel a whole lot better knowing that the architect feel that we're gonna meet the deadlines that we put out to meet.
Okay, so we have, thank you, Ms. Baptiste. We have 5 items under the consent agenda.
Sir, I'd like to pull some of those.
That's what I'm just gonna ask. Which ones do you want to pull?
1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 5.
Anyone else want to pull anything? All right, so with those items being pulled, I need a motion to approve consent agenda item number 4. Again, I need a motion to approve consent agenda item number 4.
So move.
We moved in second that we approve consent agenda item number 4, pulling 1, 2, 3, and 5. All in favor? Opposed? All right, so let's take these items that's
I
been
got a quick
pulled first.
question.
Yes, sir.
It's not on number 4, but because of the lights went out, have we discussed a generator for this building?
No, we consider it, but we never did purchase one for this building yet. We have not.
That's something I think we do need to discuss. And I think we need a natural gas generator. That's something we need to put on our topic, and that's a very good point, sir. I thought we had one. I didn't know. But I think we need one, most
Hey,
definitely.
Dr. Peter, we actually talked about it, but the generator that was at St. Mary's, we thought we were going to go to this building, we got put in the other building, but we didn't really come back and look at this building after we moved that generator over there.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, we talked about it, but we didn't come to a consensus about what we want to do about it.
Right. And Commissioner, I think the deal was when we got the generator from St. Mary, we knew that it could power both that building and this building, but the cost to run the wire underground from that side and disrupt all the streets and stuff, it was too costly at that time, so we just did not do it. We could look at I could go back and look at costs for a generator for this building, come back to you guys, but it's not in your budget, so you would have to amend your budget if you want, when we come back with costs.
Let me ask you, Ken, is there any way you can just have the company to come and make a presentation? Because I'm going to have a lot of questions on kilowatts and all that.
Well, we could have some service contractor come by and tell you, once, the process is we have to go out for bids. And once we go out for bid and we get the quotes back from this guy, then you guys gonna accept or reject the quotes, whoever y'all wish. And that person that y'all accept, y'all have the opportunity to ask any question y'all wish.
So we can't ask the applicants, that's
Whoever,
applying, the ones that's bidding? And
we're gonna go out and get 3 quotes.
and we can't talk to those 3?
You're gonna select one. Unless y'all wanna form a committee and let the board take care of this stuff. And let the board interview each one of the applicants, and then the board could make a subcommittee of the board and let the board subcommittee make a recommendation. Normally we go to the purchasing department, let the purchasing department go out, put the specs, get the qualification in based upon the specs. We score this stuff, and then we come back to you guys with a recommendation. But if the board want to have his own subcommittee and do the whole process themselves, it's up to the board.
I don't think that's necessary. I think keep the process, but we will get to look at all 3 bids, correct?
But as I said, we will go out before you guys. You would have to amend your budget because this is not in this year's budget. And we're talking about a pretty good expense, $200,000-300,000.
Well, yeah, I'm aware of it, yeah. Okay. I just want to see all the bids that's turned in.
Yeah, you will begin, we will bring all bids to you guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Let's look at this first consent agenda item that was pulled to discuss with possible consideration a letter of intent from Phoenix Industrial Waterworks.
Yes, sir. Commissioners, Chairman, Phoenix Industrial Waterworks is currently in the business park. They have a letter of intent to purchase 3 additional acres of land. We're asking you guys to move forward with the sale of 3 additional acres of land to Phoenix Industrial Waterworks.
I have a question. When I read his letter, it seems in the second paragraph, last sentence, that he's asking us to provide him with a survey?
What was that, Pete?
Is he asking us to pay for the survey? Because when I read it, it's not totally clear to me. He should pay for his own survey, period.
I don't have a problem with that, you know.
I mean, we shouldn't, I don't know if we've been doing it before, but we shouldn't be paying for surveys.
Well,
He wants to buy
that
it, he need to
prop,
pay for the survey.
that property is currently bordered by a utility easement. We would have to identify the utility easement so that he does not encroach on that utility easement. I don't see a problem with him paying for the survey. That's, you know, that's no big deal.
Any other questions about that?
So is there anything that we do, is there anything that is due from us to him before he do his survey? I'm assuming that's some kind of order of precedence, right?
Well, we're gonna have to identify the utility easement.
Okay.
So the question
No, we
is,
don't. The survey gonna do that. We don't have to identify that. Whoever he hires, South Texas or whomever he hire to go out and do the survey, they're gonna identify it on the survey. Why do we have to? We should already have a survey we can give him. When we purchase the land out there, we should already have that on file. We can call up the surveyors, whoever did it initially, did all those lots, and they can identify that. Or he can go down to the city. Why do we want to provide him that?
okay, in the park has not been platted. We plat it once we sell. We sell everything by meets and bounds until we sell the property.
Okay.
Currently, this particular property is bordered by a utility easement. He could survey 3 acres out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just very concerned about him encroaching on the easement. And you know, Kate, how would I go about that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. No big deal. Yeah.
So it's not a cost that we incur, that's on him to provide that data.
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it.
Yes, sir.
All right, no other further question from me.
The motion?
I so move that we accept it with the changes we just stated.
And
That he's paying for the survey.
And I second that.
All right, so it's been moved and second that we move forward with this letter of intent from Phoenix Industrial Water Parks, just specifying that when we get to that point that they pay for the survey. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent from Clifford Distilling LLC.
Yes, again, Commissioners, Chairman, there's a letter of intent from Clifford Distilling LLC for an economic incentive. You guys received the packaging, the letter in your package. I will say that it does meet the economic guidelines for an incentive. Strictly just a letter of intent, you know.
Is he an employee of the city? This guy?
Not to my knowledge, I don't know.
Okay.
The gentleman, Sean, is here. I didn't see you, Sean.
Oh, okay. Okay, he's not the person I thought it was. Because I know there's a city employee getting ready to do something like this, and that's why I was asking.
Sean, if you guys wish, Sean, you want to kind of tell them about your project?
Thank you, first of all, for allowing me the opportunity to come out and talk to you guys. So this project has been something I've been ongoing now for about 5 years. In the R&D portion, we were actually looking at a site just next door here a couple of years back, and ended up getting investors to go to Hill Country and build out there. And some of my neighbors and Mr. Bastiste, and well, now I met George, but a few have said, look, if we build it here, you may have to start out a little bit smaller, but you won't have to move. And I spent 23 years in the Army moving around. So I did put down roots, and I've got my sons, when they get out of the military, they've agreed to all come and join Port Arthur family. So we want to start a family business, high-end rum and whiskey. Have a little bit of a tasting and a tour, but there will be no bar, nothing like that there. It's strictly going to be apparel, hats and t-shirts, and then, you know, a tour and that kind of thing. But we don't want it to turn into a Jack Daniels and take over the city. We do not want that at all. But what we do want to do is have a craft distillery that can draw people off the interstate to come down to Port Arthur, go to our museum, go to other places, but get traffic in here that allows for other businesses to open up, your local restaurants and things like that. With what Motiva's doing, and I've been trying to stay on top of everything that's going on down here, it's really exciting, but we've got to get some more energy going. And every town that I've been to that have opened a craft brewery or a craft distillery has just exploded into investment. And it's always a good thing. I'm not going to hire outside of Port Arthur. This is going to be jobs just for Port Arthur city limits. So, and my goal is to be up to 25 employees by year 3 on the payroll. Better than that, my goal is to have an average payroll at $18 an hour. So the majority of them will be, you know, higher end. Of course, we'll have some clerks and that kind of stuff. That'll be high school students or just out of high school that won't be making. That'll be making $12, you know, to $15 an hour. But the majority are going to be making over $20 an hour. We want to have a retirement plan. We want to make this not Jack Daniels, but we want to have a legacy like Jack Daniels right here in Port Arthur. And we're not going to just call this whiskey or whatever. We want to kind of highlight the history of Texas, the history of Port Arthur. But the Gonzales, the Goliad, the San Antonio, the Port Arthur will be a rum. Those and a little snippet on the back of each bottle with that history. Not 100% of the history, but just enough to capture your imagination for that particular town. So that when people see that in St. Louis, Missouri, or Chicago, Illinois, they go, man, I'd like to go down to this place, Port Arthur. That's what we want to accomplish. We want to bring good people that want to come and enjoy the place. And I want a place that my grandchildren someday can go, I'm proud to be from Port Arthur. And I know that's what everybody here, because I see all the work you guys are doing. It's fantastic. So if you give me the opportunity, I will not fail you. That's a fact.
I like to add, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman. The only concern that I have, I understand what you want to do, is your investment in your own business is very small. You're asking us for $553,700, and you're only putting in $47,000.
That's just what I have on cash on hand, not what I've already invested, sir. I've already got about $60,000 tied up in my own money, and then I just tied up another $22,000 in permitting. I've already begun the process.
Okay, I'm only going by what I read, and it says total investment $550.
Commissioner, this is just a letter of intent. You know, they could ask for 100% of the project, but you know, we have a formula we use here. And until we test the financials and look at everything, we cannot tell you what he's going to get. You know, this is just a letter of intent. What I can tell you, it does meet the NAISC code for economic incentive. And what we're asking the board is to move forward with a full application for this project.
So move that we move forward.
I second that.
Moved and second that we move forward with the letter of intent from Clifford Distilling LLC. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number 3, to discuss for possible consideration approving the closing of an incentive agreement with the PA Development Group. Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. PA Development Group have met the conditions of your agreement. It was an infrastructure contract. They have met the conditions. With 2 COs, and we're asking you guys to close it.
I'm good now. I move that we close it.
Second.
I'll second that.
Been moved in second that we move forward with closing the incentive agreement with the PA Development Group. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, to discuss for possible consideration approving amendment number 2 to extend the conditional grant agreement with Arif One. Mr. Baptiste.
Yes, again, commissioners and board members. Well, a couple of months ago, we came to you guys with an extension because of the sprinkler system, and talking to the developer and the fire marshal. My understanding it should be done by Friday. We are asking for a week, 2 weeks extension. You guys had extended it 60 days. It's still not done. Fire marshal said it should be done by Friday of this week. So we're asking you guys just to extend this thing for additional 2 weeks.
See, I'm not understanding what we're extending, unless I'm missing it.
You extend the time.
Just the time.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Motion.
I so move that we give the extension.
Moved in second that we move forward with the extension to the conditional grant agreement with the Arif One. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now to our non-consent agenda. Agenda item number 1, to discuss for possible consideration approval of the PA EDC fiscal year 2021-2022 budget.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, what we're going to ask you guys to do is just table this until our next board meeting. I think tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we meet with the financial folks to finalize this budget. And I would like to have a final budget to come back to you guys for approval. We're going to finalize this with the city tomorrow. And I don't want to have to give you something today and then come back the following month with something different. So what we're asking you to do is table this one until your next board meeting.
And for the sake of time, Mr. Chairman, I would like to have in the interim, while we're doing that, have a workshop. I can't see me passing, approving any budget without a workshop.
This board have had workshops on this budget. You know, we have to have a commissioner, you know, I don't mind we having a workshop, but, you know, we're gonna have to have it back to the city by the end of your next board meeting. So your workshop would have to be between this week and your next board meeting. Because remember, the council have to approve their budget in September. They have to have it by September.
So whatever we gotta do, I wanna have a workshop, period.
So,
Sure.
Mr. Chairman,
Pleasure of the board.
Yeah.
To get a consensus for the workshop. Everybody is in agreement with doing a budget workshop for the year.
I am.
Let's get it set up.
but I think, again, what date y'all looking at? Because as I said, we have to have this thing back to the city by sometime in August.
Within the time frame that you say we need to
Yes,
have
sir.
it, let's just get it set up.
Any particular date? Any particular date y'all like to have?
Mondays are always good.
Okay.
Do it on a Monday
So
afternoon. Monday.
next Monday would be fine?
I'm good with it.
I'm good with that time frame, and we can move that fast. I just want to make sure we got everything in
Yeah,
play.
because we're gonna meet with the city tomorrow.
Yeah,
So
Monday
we're
would be
gonna
good
know
then.
where we at.
Yeah, Monday would be good. What about, Mr. Chairman, what do you think?
I can't do next Monday.
Okay.
but I can do next Tuesday.
Yeah, that's good for me.
I'll flex.
Next Tuesday, we have council meeting.
Council meeting.
Or can we meet at a different time next Tuesday? What time is the council meeting?
Is it morning meeting next week? Yeah.
Okay, then we're meeting in the evening, so it shouldn't be
Okay,
a
next
problem.
Tuesday. We'll make it for next Tuesday. The only thing, what I would suggest, I think at your last board meeting, Rachel, we gave out a proposed budget to you guys, and there were just only certain line items that we let we asked you to look at. You know, if you would like to look at those, begin looking at those line items and give myself or Rachel a call on any one of those line items, we could play with the numbers. So when we come back to you guys, because we got to go back to the city again. If you guys are gonna change the numbers, we got to go back to the city.
Okay, so so I'm not saying I'm gonna go just pick line items. I'm gonna look at every line item, me personally.
We want you to look at every line item.
Okay, all right.
If there's any line item within the budget that you would like to see change, we would like to know as soon as possible, because we're gonna have to communicate this with the city also.
Well, we wanna meet Tuesday, aren't we? Next Tuesday?
As I said, if you look at your package from the last board meeting, did you give them a draft budget last time? If you look at your package, or Joni could send you a draft of what you had at your last board meeting, the line items are there, what we have put in for 21-22 budget. If there's something you would like to change, if you let us know so that we can start working on this stuff, because right now we're dealing with time, Mr. Petrie, because we got to get this back to the city.
I don't think we're gonna have a problem with time, but I would like you to re-email the budget.
Okay, Rachel, can you send him a copy of what you sent last week? Anybody else want a copy of that?
Just send it to everybody.
Okay, send it to everybody, Rachel. But again, we put a lot of time into this stuff. If y'all have some changes prior to your workshop, we certainly would like to know, so we could plug the numbers in and tell you guys the effect of the changes that you want to make.
Well, one item we already talked about, getting a generator. We want to put that on there, and come up with a number.
If there's any changes you want to make, if y'all let us know, we could plug the numbers in, so when we come back to the workshop, we could tell you the effect that it will have on your budget.
All right.
I do want to say that we've already spoken with the finance department, and it's possible that we might have to decrease our expected expenses for next year based on looking at some numbers. So once we speak with them on tomorrow, I can let you know. If they tell us that we have to decrease our expenses for next year, that generator might not be able to happen in fiscal year 2022, and we might have to go over to 2023.
Or we may cut something else.
Yes, but
Okay.
In the workshop, I could tell you where those numbers are going to be coming from. So it's pretty tight. Again, we're trying to keep those numbers.
So my question is, why would they tell us to decrease our budget if we got this money in the bank? What?
No, not increase. It's
You said,
possible,
decrease it.
Right,
Why?
decrease.
How
What we do is we get your budget together based on our historical, what we feel that we can operate with in a certain time period for the next year. Of course, some numbers we don't have. We don't have the debt service and a couple other numbers, return on investments. But they look at everything as a whole, and they plug up our operating cost against our debt service. And they kind of take a look at it and say, hey, look, you guys might want to decrease, or you guys might want to increase. Now, just speaking to them, they said we might need to decrease, but until we meet with them on tomorrow, we won't definitely know. I just want to just take that into consideration.
And that's not going to be the finance department decision anyway. It's going to be city council's decision.
It will be, but of course, we do work very well with that department, and together, we usually have very good insight on what we can and what would be best for the Port Arthur EDC. So we'll be sure to let you know that too in the workshop, but that's just a consideration that that generator might have to wait another fiscal year.
We need to
Maybe,
get the
maybe not.
generator.
Yes, sir.
If we gotta cut something else, we need the generator. I mean, that's my priority. If something else gotta go, and quite frankly, I think if we go to council and talk to the city council, they will be understanding. They have had the issue with generators over at City Hall in the past. They know the pain and suffering of not having electricity.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't think that's gonna be a problem with the city council.
Okay. We'll just bring it before.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I got a quick question. You say we have a surplus. So the city tells us what we can spend and what we can't spend.
No, they don't.
Okay.
What Rachel is saying, we have debt service that we have to pay a debt to. Many years ago, this board borrowed money to build roads for this hospital. They borrowed money to build roads when they first put their business park. You guys are still, we paying about, if you look in here, about $800,000 a year.
But we don't have a surplus. From the numbers that you're telling us that we have a surplus, we don't have a surplus. That the numbers that you've shown on this paper, that's not exactly what we have.
That's exactly what you have.
So why you tell us that we have a surplus when we don't?
Because there's other costs what you don't see in here is debt service and all this other stuff.
Well, we need to see.
Well, we need to see it.
What you see it in her financials. You don't see it in your budget. You see it when she gives you the financials. If you look at I'd rather deal with this at a workshop because
Yes.
it could be
Okay.
a long time.
Yes.
Okay.
But again, Mr. Petrie, if there's any line items that you want to cut, I have no problems cutting any of them.
Okay. All I'm saying in closing.
I certainly understand.
Thank you, sir. All I'm saying in closing is I sat here, I came in early today, and I sat here and I was in the dark for a few minutes. And it could have been worse. It could have been weeks. It's not like it hasn't happened before. We need a generator, as the commissioner stated, both of them stated. And we need to do what it's going to take to get it. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I mean, I'm not even concerned what finance says. I'm concerned about the city council. And we have the money to purchase it. We need to just figure it out, make it happen. As simple as that.
And so we're going to table agenda item number 1. We're going to have a workshop on this coming Tuesday at 4 or 5 o'clock. Y'all good with 4 o'clock?
Perfect.
Everybody good with 4 o'clock? Anybody good with 3 o'clock?
But Tuesday?
Will y'all be out of council meeting by 3 o'clock? All right, let's say 4 to be safe. Let's say 4 o'clock to be safe. Okay, 4 o'clock to be safe next Tuesday. We'll have that workshop, okay?
Okay.
And as our CEO stated, if there's anything that we're trying to consider that you know in advance, please let the office know before that particular day. Agenda item number 2, to discuss payment structure of training agreements. Mr. Smith. Oh, I know what that came from. That's from the structure for the Lamar.
Right. Renata, you want to take this one, please? Mr. Smith requested how we do training and how we pay for training. I asked Renata to put together a chart for you guys, and she could explain that to y'all.
Okay, so if you look in your packet, I have a breakdown, and I also have copies of the past agreements that I actually showcase. I actually have it right here. You could take one.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so basically what I just supplied you guys with is an agreement from Gyro World, Lamar State College Port Arthur, and Angels Divine Touch. If you look at the spreadsheet that I supplied you guys with, you can see that each program is unique in its own way, meaning every agreement is arranged differently. So if you look at Gyro World, and this was actually done before my inception to the role that I am currently in, as you can see, they had an allocation of $100,000, whereas in life skills was broken out to 80 with the job placement of 20,000. If you just look at it and just kind of compare it to the others, they're all different. Each one of them is different. They're unique in their own way. I will say that we're no longer in an agreement with Angels Divine Touch, and we're no longer in an agreement with Gyro World Church. So the only agreement that we actually have right now, set up somewhat like the others, is Lamar State College. And if you look at the Lamar State College agreement, you'll see that we allocated a certain amount of money, and I think this year was $75,000. 37.5, I want to say, was for enrollment, and 37.5 was upon completion. So pretty much, Mr. Dallas, I don't know, like, I guess, did this come up in regards to another?
Yes, in regards to Mr.
Digital
Digital Workforce.
Okay, yeah. Because see, right now, what it is we have Lamar State College Port Arthur set up at 50, of course, in the beginning, and 50 at the end. And I think at one of the meetings, we had Dr. Stafford on the phone, and he did break down and say that if we were to change, because I think it was brought up at one time that you guys did want to change it to a lower percentage upon enrollment. So, but he said that they couldn't do that. They couldn't go with the lesser of the, like the 50% or less. So we kept it the same. However, with this new agreement that we currently have forthcoming, that you guys are going to talk about tonight and I guess vote on, we actually came up with another breakdown so that we wouldn't have the bulk of the money going out in the front end. So we kind of set it up where we have like a 25% going out in the front end, a 50% in the middle, and then a 25% at placement, at job placement, because we want to make sure these people get jobs. So that's where we are right now.
My question was, what's different between the two, between Lamar and Digital?
The only difference is Lamar is getting 50% at the front and 50% upon completion.
So why is that? Why we have a separate, why we just can't keep everybody on the same path? I'm asking you that.
In Lamar agreement, there's no placement component. There's no placement component in Lamar agreement. Lamar agreement is strictly training.
So Digital is training also.
Correct, but they're putting it has a placement component incorporated.
But is there any monies involved with the placement?
From us, yes, sir. Either way it goes, we're gonna still pay out. Yes, sir. And the reason why is because in the past, you've had people to start the Class A and Class B, and they may start and then they don't finish, and then we've already put out a bulk of money. So what we're trying to do
That happens at Lamar also.
Yeah.
So you're putting out 50%, and they may not complete the class.
Right.
So that's what I just didn't understand. I don't see a difference.
Mr. Smith, what happened at, I don't know if it was last board meeting, but the meeting before that.
I think it was 2 months ago.
Dr. Stafford came here, or he was on the phone rather, and he spoke to the board. And Dr. Stafford said to the board that they could not change the numbers. And he said he certainly would like to continue working with EDC and Port Arthur residents, but the college could not change the numbers because we did consider changing it. The board agreed to continue providing Lamar at a 50-50 for the training.
And that's my point. If we could do it for Lamar, then why we can't do it for digital?
And the only reason I will tell you, I provided Renata with a deal based upon what the board said. I know there was 2, 3 months of discussion with
Digital workforce.
digital workforce, and Mr. Petrie and several board members was very concerned about these people going to work. And I think Mr. Smith asked me, how did we pay in the past? I said, we pay for what they do. We pay a portion for enrollment, a portion for completion, and a portion for placement. And that's what we're doing on this contract.
The one thing with all of our training that we tried to do, and it didn't just start a couple of months ago. It started a while back because we were getting a lot of people to come in, different companies trying to train with this and train that. We had CNA and all of those other things as well. And the idea was we were putting out the money, but we were not able to get a placement component in there. Now I know that Lamar is different, but we did try to change Lamar as well. It just doesn't fit the way that they do business. But the idea is to not just keep putting the money out, but to get people trained and put into work. So anytime we can structure, in my opinion, anytime we can structure an agreement where we're paying money on the initial enrollment, we're paying money somewhere mid, maybe completion, and paying money at placement, that would be awesome. That, to me, that's what we really want to see. Basically because we don't want to just keep putting money out there, because if they're like, let me not say like me, but, you know, people that know how to get over, you know, I could start any type of training class. If you're going to give me 50% up front, I can go find somebody to sign up. I can find a name to turn in. I can get all the information I need, you know, and I don't need the other 50% because I'm not doing the work anyway. So that's the kind of thing that we're trying to prevent, because we really want the people not to just finish, but we want them to be placed. So I thought we discussed shaping all of our agreements the same way, where we pay a little here, a little there, and we pay the rest at placement. So where there was no placement, there was no finality.
Now, Lamar does have a placement department, don't they?
They do.
So why can't they incorporate placing?
The difference is you're talking about a training class versus a college. A college has everything in place. They're going to do everything that we're paying them to do, which makes the difference. So in other words, if I'm a training facility and I put this out that I'm going to do this, at any given point, if I don't do that, I'm not going to keep all the components in place to make sure that that's done. So I'm not going to lose any income. I just make what I made. But if I'm a college, I'm going to already have everything in place. That money is already spent, whether you're going to give me the money or not, because my instructors are there, my facility's there. I'm still moving forward. That's the difference, and that's what he explained to us, you know, on the phone that evening while he had to do the 50-50.
Even if Lamar is done like that, I totally agree with Commissioner Smith that there need to be maybe Lamar would be the exception, I don't know, but I think there certainly needs to be a template where it'd be easy, I think, to manage it if they're all the same.
So that's what I was just saying.
Yeah.
The exact same thing.
Even if there's one exception because
Lamar's
it's a university,
the exception.
and Lamar's the
Lamar's
exception
the
because
exception.
they're a university or college, but all these other companies, they're not. They're not. And if they want our money from the EDC, they're gonna go by our guidelines. Not that we gotta accommodate around each one of them and tailor make, customize for each one. We can have a general format that we want. And if they can't conform to that, then you can't get it.
And that's exactly what we're shooting for.
Okay.
To have that format, that same thing. That's exactly what we're shooting for.
Okay.
Mike.
Consensus would be that we will develop a template, and anybody bidding for that type of program, they will need to conform to that template. Otherwise, it's a non-consent item to even discuss, right? That's
Right.
my understanding?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Gonna stay for digital workforce? Okay, so thank you for, oh, Mr. Spence, I'm sorry. You good?
Good. I just wanted to have it uniform.
Right.
Let me make sure for clarity for staff. When you say this board is still allowing Lamar to operate on what you guys agreed on, right?
Hmm?
Okay. So is any other training other than the university? Okay, I'm good. That's what we are. That's what we're doing.
All right, agenda item number 3. To discuss for popular consideration approving a training agreement with Digital Workforce Academy.
So move.
Second.
Yeah, I have a question on this one, Kate. Um, the enrollment. What constitutes an enrollment? You know, because if a guy, I don't want a person to come in there one day and we give them $675. You know, if you look at the other agreements, it was 8 hours or 10 hours or so many hours of training prior to before they could get some money from us. Because a person may attend one day and go away and get, then we still owe them $670. So I think the question is, what constitutes enrollment?
That's that template we telling you about.
What in this agreement here though? It's nothing. It's nothing. It just say 25%.
It was a 10-week program. Yeah, it was a 10-week program.
It just say 25%. But my question is, what constitutes them getting that 25%? You know,
In hours, you're saying?
it's up to the board.
Well, why can't we just let him, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr.
I'm thinking he's talking about attendance,
Right.
I mean, participation, contribution. He's trying to lay it out and he's trying to scale it out so we can make sure we understand what our return is. Because if he show up one day, he say he's an enrollee, he's on the thing, he missing 3 or 4 different absences. He's not an active participant. What is an active participant, and what does that scale look like to make sure that he or she is actively enrolled, so we can justify why we're paying what we're paying for the runway possibly of that person completing the program, so he can meet the rest of the conditions of this contract. That's what I think Mr.
Right.
Baptiste
Okay, so
talking
why
about.
couldn't you say they go to class, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day? That's 40 hours, multiply times 10, that's 400 hours. 25% of that,
There it is.
There you go.
just simple as that.
Okay.
Well, what is that number? I think we need to put that in the agreement, Kate. Whatever it is, that would count, so that they know that they would have to submit to us something showing that number Mr. Petrie came up with prior to us giving them money.
Yeah, Kate and I will get together tomorrow and solidify everything.
Follow me, Smith. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. I'm tracking. I agree. But I think the chairman put it on the table for a vote, so we really need to have an amendment to that, right?
Yeah, we need to amend that,
I accept that to my motion.
okay, Jonah, did you catch that? Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks.
Agenda item number 4, to discuss for possible consideration approving an economic incentive agreement with Des Tech Industrial Services LLC, DBA Ramtex. Mr. Baptiste.
Des Tech, Industrial. Crystal, is Crystal here? Okay. Des Tech came back to you guys, and Des Tech is gonna currently they're gonna purchase the building, okay? And you guys entered into the terms and condition was that I think you're gonna give them what, $4,900, and they're gonna provide $49,000, and they're gonna provide you with property tax for 3 years. Remember, as before, Des Tech had an agreement with you guys, and the reason we know the only thing that counted in this particular incentive was the capital investment, the purchase of the building. The purchase of the building, Kate, we said was $887,500. We prorated that because this board previously gave them credit toward the rent they was paying for the lease of the building. So this time we only giving them $49,500, and they're going to provide to us every year a copy of property taxes for that 3 years to make sure they stay. If the clawback to this deal is if they fail to stay, then they will get credit for the time they stayed, but they would owe us back that portion of the money that they didn't meet the obligation. Did I say that okay, Kate? Right. They will be collateralizing your money with a letter of credit. Right.
Questions? Motion?
So move.
Moved and second, moved by Mr. Sharif and second by Mr. Dallas Smith, that we move forward with approving an incentive agreement with Des Tech Industrial Services. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 5, to discuss for clarification the board meeting minutes dated May 6, 2013 concerning 501 Proctor Street Incorporated, and presentation by Germer, attorney at the PAEDC meeting dated June 7, 2021.
Mr. Chairman, you want me to get started or what?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. We had a meeting last month. I think it was June the 7th or something like that. But it was last month. And information that was brought, and I truly had denied, and this was going from memory. And in the discussion, I kind of felt like we weren't on the same page. Even when Floyd read the minutes, it just didn't ring in my mind that was the meeting that I was involved in. And so I did some research, and I discovered that I was correct in my research. And there are some things I think that was done, and I've already spoken to the city attorney and her assistant attorney, had a good extensive meeting with them and others, and did a little research and found out that there are some things that happened that was not the intent of the EDC board at that time. I've spoken with several of the EDC board members that was members on the board at that time, they recall. And I also spoke with the city council. I forwarded a copy of the video, several copies of videos to each board member. Y'all should have gotten it today. I sent each one of y'all guys a copy of it. A couple of the board members are not here, but I sent them a copy of the city council meeting pertaining to this 501 board, and I also sent it was just a slew of videos that I sent, several of them. Okay, and it's just got me totally confused on the way the thing turned out. And to get started, and one other thing is, it concerned me to find out that some of the videos or some of the information is missing pertaining to this on videos from the EDC. The EDC videos every board meeting, but when it came to our May meeting in 2013, those videos are gone. It's just, to me, I'm not understanding what happened to the videos when we got all the other videos, but yet the city council has their video. But our video for the EDC is missing. I'm not understanding what happened to the video. I've asked for the video several times, I'm told we don't have one. And that is a major concern to me, that we do not have the video, but we got all other videos. And I honestly, when this is over with, I'm thinking we're gonna need to do an investigation. And I'm gonna be honest about that. I wanna know what happened to the videos, period. I don't know, I wasn't there. I left the EDC shortly thereafter that particular meeting. It wasn't much longer, I was gone. I don't have a clue what happened to the video. And that is a question that I'm asking, where is the video, okay? And when we formed that board, I did ask that minutes be placed in the, here it is, minutes of the meeting. We do have the minutes of the EDC meeting that we had, and it clearly shows that, and this is our minutes. The minutes of May 6, 2013. On May 6, 2013, y'all should have in your pocket on page 4, item number 7. It clearly says, to discuss for possible consideration naming the following members to the board of directors of the not-for-profit corporation for 501 Proctor Street. And it clearly shows who the members are. It says, number 1, EDC president. Number 2, EDC vice president. Number 3, EDC secretary. None of these people is on that board right now, and they should be. That was the initial intent. Then it says a motion was made by Roosevelt Petrie, which was me. I don't think anybody know what I meant better than me when I made it. And that's when and it was seconded by Eli Roberts. And it clearly says to appoint Deborah Scott and Michael Shane Senegal to serve on the board of directors in position 4 and number 5, and to accept other members as recommended above. The vote was unanimous. Every board member agreed. But when you take that and you go to the city's resolution, on May the 7th, which was the next day, 2013, resolution number 13-227, and actually 228. Let me get it here. Whereas the newly created nonprofit corporation members are as follows: PAEDC chairman, PAEDC vice chairman, PAEDC secretary. Number 5 is Deborah Scott. Number 4 is Deborah Scott. Number 5 is Michael Senegal. That matches 100% of what the intent was, not only for the EDC board, but for the city council. And it was presented to us that this was a one-time thing for that project. When 501 was over with, that was supposed to have been it. It's supposed to went away. And it also says that on the city council. And if you look at the video that I sent, It clearly says in there when the city attorney, Ms. Val Tisano, asked a question, this is for a single project. It asked that, and Guy Goodson answered yes. And she asked it again. But when they went to the Secretary of State's office, just a month later, June 17th, that's not what they filed. They filed Katrina Frank's name, they filed Eli Roberts' name, Pat Holmes' name, and Michael Shane Senegal's name, and Deborah Scott's name. When they should have filed Deborah Scott, Commissioner Senegal, but they should have said EDC President, EDC Vice President, EDC Secretary. And the way it was set up, because we had lengthy discussion that night, I remember it, and the other board members remember it, the ones that I spoke to, they clearly intended for the EDC to participate. So right now, the EDC is in the dark. EDC don't know nothing what's going on with 501. But had we had the EDC president, EDC vice president, and the EDC secretary on that board, we would know. We wouldn't be in the dark. And what else is concerning to me is, and I really want us to look at the video. If that, we got to set up another meeting where we get the video, put it on the overhead, we can look at it and watch it, even though I sent it to y'all. And I asked that staff look into this that last meeting, but this is what I had to do. This is my research. Even the videos. And which I was told there was no videos. But I managed to get my hands a hold of like a few of them. And I shared them with the board members. The problem that I'm having is when I discussed this with Mr. Goodson, and I discussed this with our CEO, my concerns that I had was, I mentioned everything to these individuals. We're going to look into it. We're going to get back with you. There's no video. Well, I need the minutes. Well, we got them.
Mr. Petrie, can I make a correction?
I'm almost finished, sir.
Okay.
Just let me finish. Okay. And then they mentioned about initial. That was mentioned to me about the initial board and all this kind of stuff, which has nothing to do with nothing, because in nothing that the EDC talked about, and nowhere in the minutes does it talk about initial, nowhere in the city council's resolution, in resolution 13-227 and 13-228, there's no mention of initial. And I know that our chairman, Mr. Baptiste, is aware of that, and I know that Mr. Guy Goodson is aware of it. You know how I know they're aware of it? Because they signed their name on it. Here's their names right here. Both of them knew it. They signed their name and they knew exactly who's supposed to be on that board. Guy Goodson signed it. I have the city secretary signed, Ms. Sherry Ballard. We have Floyd Baptiste, the PADC CEO, approved as follows: Guy N. Goodson, PAEDC attorney, and approved as to follow Val Tisano. This is the day he came in. I have it right here. And it was filed with the Secretary of the state of Texas. Okay? Then they went around 1 year after June the 17th, 2013, it was filed, and then turned around August the 26th, 2014. And in this one, we weren't supposed to be doing nothing about equipment and buying equipment and all the things that's listed in here that they have listed that they want to do. They totally removed the EDC out of it. They were removed. None of the EDC members are on it anymore. none of them, and they changed what the purpose was, and it was supposed to be temporary. And it says in the first one that was filed, they changed from the city council because it was only supposed to be for the project, but they changed it and said it's supposed to be forever. The period of duration is, I can't see that good. Perpetual, is that how you pronounce it? Perpetual, okay, which is forever, okay. Wait a minute, let me finish, okay? Because when they were up here last month and made me try to make me look like an idiot, when I clearly said, and I was very clear that this was supposed to have been temporary, okay? But when they went and found it, now, when you look at the city council's resolution, and when the city secretary asked, and it clearly states that this was only for that project. But when they filed it just a month later, they made it forever. And they stuck in the names. Then they went back in August 26th and filed a year later, took the EDC completely out of it, and none of the members that's supposed to be on the 501 right now is on that board. The only ones should be on that board. See, the initial intent was so that the EDC can have oversight and know what's going on with 501. They never did come back and explain. They were very vague because I spoke with the city attorney, and she is really not pleased with some of this. She has her own concerns. She told me that herself. And so when you look at all of this, it's just one big mess that needs to be fixed. And the only way I feel that it could be fixed, because the way they made it, the only people can fix it is 501. Now, I've spoken to a couple members, and matter of fact, they're not happy with it either. I don't understand why the intent of the city council was ignored and the intent of the EDC was ignored. Who took it upon themselves and made it the way they wanted? Because that's what I see. They got what they wanted in less than a month. They went down there and turned in and fixed the bylaws the way they wanted, and that was it. Gone home. We got what we want, we're gonna change it. And ain't nobody know what's going on ever since. When I heard about this $600,000, I was like, I thought we were broke. Where did this $600,000 come from? I thought that was spent. And I still don't know where they're getting money from, where it's coming from. Look, is it good to have 501? I agree with it. Anything they can do to help us get some money so we can help our community, I agree. But they had no right to take it upon themselves and just do what they want to do when you had a whole city council vote on it and totally disregarded what the council wanted, and had the EDC members to vote on it and totally disregarded, and they knew about it because I got these signatures right here. I have concerns with that. And if that's how we do business, I can't do business like that. I can't. This board, when we make decisions on things, we in good faith expect our city attorneys and our leadership to follow the will of this board. No different than the city council expect for us to follow their will. And when that's not carried out and people take it upon themselves and do it the way they want to do it, it's not right. Right now, we should have Mr. Dallas Smith on that board. He's the secretary. We should have this gentleman on the board, Mr. John. We should have our president, Mr. Darrell, on that board right now. They're not voting on any of that stuff, and they should have. And the only reason why I didn't get on that board when I was the chairman, when that was done, but the video was gone, is because I knew I was going to be getting off the board at that time, and I recall it. I said the person after me was going to get on it, which turned out to have been Caprina. But I was chairman, like I told you. And so I wasn't wrong. I went from memory almost a decade ago. And come to find out, I was pretty close to what I said. It wasn't 100%, but it was close enough. And they knew it because they signed it. And that's what's blowing my mind is these guys put their signature on it. And I got it, here we go. They put their signature on it, but that's not what was, this does not match what was filed with the Secretary of State's office and what's in those resolutions. 13-227 and 13-228. It doesn't match at all. And it doesn't match the video that y'all have a copy of that I sent. Mr. Chairman, I turn it back to you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to make one correction. Office, we did provide him with videos, with the tape of copies of the tape of the meeting. I think it was in May you came by here, so.
No, I do not have it. We took that video.
No,
Sir,
no, Mr.
I don't
Mr.
have it.
Petrie,
It doesn't work.
Mr. Petrie,
It's a
Mr.
blank
Petrie,
CD.
Mr. Petrie, when you spoke, I'll let you speak.
Okay, go right ahead.
I said on May the 6th, you came by here, we gave you copies of the file, the disc that we had on file.
I did not come here May 6th, sir. We didn't even have a meeting by
whatever date it was. So are you saying we did not give you anything? Are you saying we did not give you anything?
Is that a question, sir?
Yes, I'm asking you a question.
Okay, I'd like to answer that.
Yes.
I'm telling you, the CDs that was given to me, when we took them, they were blank.
Oh.
And my staff girl came back and delivered it right back to her.
Okay.
My employee, we could not open it.
Okay.
And she told them, as far as I'm concerned, if I can't open it, I don't have anything if I can't see it.
Okay.
So we didn't get it. I didn't get it.
I
No,
got
sir.
you, man.
Now, if y'all can provide it, I would love to get it, but I gotta be able to review it. If I can't see it,
Right.
what good is it?
All right.
But I will ask you this.
I agree
Did
with
you
you.
not tell me you didn't have video? Did you not tell me y'all don't have the video?
I gave you 2 copies of what we had on file.
That's not what my question was. Did you tell me
I
there is
don't
no
recall.
video?
I don't have a memory like you, Petrie.
That was just a couple of weeks ago.
I don't have a memory.
Okay.
I don't remember what happened 2 hours
And
ago.
was it a video, ma'am, you gave me, or was it audio?
Point of order, gentlemen. Point of order. Point of order.
Okay, well, I have a question. I don't even know what it was, but was it a video or audio? Because what I was told is all we had was audio. That's what I was told by you, Floyd.
I don't recall.
Okay, we can play that, that's fine.
Petrie, I'm not playing.
Okay, but if
I'm
you
not
can't
playing.
deny what I have autographs on pieces of paper filed with the Texas Department, the Secretary of State's office. Okay, we can't forget that because here it is right here in black and white.
Point of order, Chairman. Point of order. Kate, you got the,
I'll be really brief. Whenever you form a corporation, in your articles of incorporation, you have to list people, you can't list positions, and you have to list addresses. That's why in the articles of incorporation, the specific people are stated. If you look in the Business Organizations Code, that's a requirement. Whenever we went and amended it, we did not amend the full articles. All we did was amend the purpose clause. When you amend articles of incorporation, you don't have to actually file the entire articles again. You only have to file what you're amending. We amended the purpose clause so that we could qualify as a 501c3 because we thought that would be beneficial for the transaction. Yes, Mr. Petrie's right. The minutes say it was the EDC chairman, EDC vice chair, and the EDC secretary. Ms. Caprina Frank served on that board until she decided to run for city council. And then she got off the EDC board. She remained a member of 501. And then Ms. Holmes took over, Pat Holmes took over as president. But we have no issues with meeting with 501 Proctor and asking them to amend their bylaws and having Mr. Anderson, Mr. Smith, and Mr. Sharfus serve on that board. I think it would be a pretty, if we have a joint meeting, we could do that.
Like I said, I've talked to the majority of the 501. I know they don't have a problem with that.
Right.
I spoke with them already, okay?
Right. I think that would be fine.
But my question is, it shouldn't have happened to begin with. And there shouldn't have been just in 1 month's period where they wasn't on there, okay? And I'm sure that they don't have a problem correcting it now. We want to correct it. I mean, that will, I think, fix this problem. But it sends a message of how it was manipulated and how people signed. And as much as y'all guys didn't expect me to get all this down.
Point of order, Chairman.
Hold on, Mr. Chairman.
Point of order,
Mr.
Chairman.
He's not a board member.
Point of order,
He can't
Chairman.
call no point of order. You're not even on the board.
Anyone can call a point of order.
No, you cannot. No, sir. Study Robert Rules of Order, sir.
Okay.
You're not a board member. You don't vote. Now, one of these members can, but you can't. Your staff. You can't call anything. Okay? Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
My mic doesn't, oh, there goes my mic. So this was for clarity, and I believe that the information that you wanted to get out is out, and the response that you needed to get, you got, saying that everything is the way you presented in the paperwork. But one of the main things that we did have, we planned, right, is to have a joint meeting with, I just went blank, I'm sorry.
Proctor.
Not just 501, City Council.
City Council.
We wanted to have a meeting with City Council and also have this discussion of 501 with that as well. And that's because, as you stated, you notice you kept going city, EDC. We can't function without each other. So we all need to be on the same page and have clarity with this. So that has been requested as well. So that should be coming down the pipe, I hope, so we can get this over with. And I'm hoping that as of right now, the information that has been presented amongst us right now in here, that we do have clarity on what happened, what was supposed to happen, and how all of this stuff is sitting right now. I'm not saying we have closure. I'm saying we have clarity.
Mr. Chairman, let me just say this. We have a bigger problem than we thought we had. We have intent and a whole lot of other stuff that we can talk later. But we have a bigger problem than we think we have, because this can't just be dismissed, even though we're going to correct it. You know, because when I go, everyone was so evasive and standoffish, okay? And all that did was a person like me made me dig. It made me do my homework, okay? And so we have a much larger problem, because had I not gotten back on this board, this wouldn't even be talking about right now.
What is this larger problem? What is the problem? See, I don't understand. I haven't been here like you were way back then. I don't know what the problem is. What is the problem?
I'll try to be as brief as possible.
Yeah,
Make
it simple.
The problem is that the will of the board and the will of the city council was played, period, by staff and by our attorneys. And when you look, even up until just a couple of weeks ago, when I came in here and I asked for information and I couldn't get it, and when I got a CD, the CD was blank. I couldn't open it, okay? And so, but when I couldn't get it, and I asked for copies of it, okay? And so when that happened, it made me dig and dig, because I know we should have this information, because I know every meeting is recorded. Every meeting is recorded. And so when we couldn't get the information, and it made me start researching, and I started picking it, but it was never mentioned to me that an amendment to the bylaws was filed. I read the letter that was written by Guy. It has nothing to do with what my concerns are. It's just fluff work as far as I'm concerned. It's fluff, okay? In my opinion, he should have been here tonight to address it. His signatures is on this piece of paper. He should have been here, not his employee or his assistant or his partner. He should have been here himself and stand up to it, okay? And so I'm saying that if the city council or the EDC, the themes and the items that we voted on tonight, When we vote and we walk out that door, staff should carry out what we voted on. They shouldn't go rewrite what we voted on and make it to be the way they want it to be. One thing, we're not going back reading this stuff. We're not going back. We don't get all that. We in good faith. We figure, hey, we vote just like the council. We vote, and once we vote, that's it. We expect staff to do their job. Well, in this particular case, staff and our attorneys not only did not do the will of the EDC, they didn't do the will of the city council. And it was only a month and a half difference from the time of the EDC meeting, because the EDC meeting was on May 6th and the city council was on May 7th, one day apart. And they filed it June 17th. I don't understand how it went from being a one single project within a month and a half till they made it last forever. I don't understand that, because that wasn't the will of the city council, that wasn't the will of the EDC board. The will of the board wasn't followed, and the will of the council wasn't followed. And if you look at the video and you watch it, it clearly says this is a single project. Okay, and so to me, I'm concerned on now what other things was voted on that staff went and just did whatever they want. They worded the way they wanted to be conveniently.
Well, hey, listen, we're not going to examine 5 years of what the staff did or what the board members did or whatever. You're talking about this project, so let's just have one project here and get this straight.
Hey, I'm talking about one project,
forever.
But I will tell you, I am going to examine it. Ain't nobody going to tell me what I'm going to look at.
Well, you can go look at anything you want.
I didn't ask y'all to look at all that.
Point of order, gentlemen.
Okay.
Point of order.
Anything you
But
want.
don't tell me what I ain't going to do, because I am.
This is a board here, and you're not the board. You're one member
That's
of this
right,
board.
and I have the right to look at what I want. And
That's
I'm going
fine.
to.
That's fine.
And I would think that any board member would be concerned and not sit here and want to argue with me when I have
I don't
signatures.
think anybody
Point
is
of
going to
order, gentlemen.
go
Point
back
of
and
order.
second guess everything that this board or this staff did for the last God knows how many years.
Hey, look, I don't want you want to go. That's why you have audits and forensic audits, and they can go back as far as they want to go. And I'm going to request that we have an audit that may turn to forensic audit. You just one vote yourself.
Point of order, gentlemen. Let's move on from this point.
All right,
Let's
because
move on
we
to
have
our
a
next
bigger
item.
problem, and I'm not going to sit here and allow someone, because they
Mr.
friends with people, make it personal.
Mr. Petrie.
I'm not doing that.
Let's move on. We have, as I stated, we still have a whole nother conversation to have about this in a joint meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I want to say one last item. I'm going to be asking for an audit. Okay, I'm making that clear, and I'm not the only one going to be asking for an audit. I can pretty much assure the council's concerned. I can't speak for them. I can speak for me. But this is some very serious stuff, and I'm going to be asking for an audit, not only on this one item, but there's other items too, Mr. John, just so you know. And if it's none, if you don't care about it, okay, no problem. I'm cool with that, but I am.
Let's move on, gentlemen. We're on agenda item number 6, and that is to discuss for possible consideration renewal of professional service contract with Germer.
Mr. Chairman, I ask we
LLC.
table that until we can really review this stuff here. I ask that be tabled. This is not the time to be hiring no attorneys, period.
That the consensus of the board. Y'all want to table this item?
Yes.
Let's table item number 6. Agenda item number 7. To discuss for possible consideration requesting the city manager to waive the plan review and building permit for phase 2 reconstruction of the press building located at 549 4th Street. Mr. Baptiste.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, you guys approved Phase 2 construction of the press building. 100% of the drawings have been completed. We in the process of trying to get the plan reviewed and a permit, and we're asking you guys to ask the city to waiver the permit fee. In your package, I did receive something from the city, the estimated cost for the total for the permit fee and the plan fees, about $11,480. Just asking y'all request to go forward and ask the council to waive those fees.
Questions? Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Been moved in second that we move forward with the requesting the waive of the plan and review permit for phase 2 of the press building. All in favor? Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 8, to discuss for possible consideration, make an application for an economic development administrative grant from EDA. Mr. Baptiste.
Yes, sir. Again, I think several months ago, I came to this board, Commissioner, and made you guys aware that the CARE Act, I think our regional office, Austin probably will, my understanding is going to get about $3 billion worth of economic development funds. And what we're asking you guys to look at making an application for an EDA grant, if y'all so choose to move forward with this.
Question?
Yes, sir. Right now, until we have I know we're out looking for a chairperson. I don't feel very comfortable entering into anything new until all of this matter is resolved. I know we got to finish the projects that we're working on, but new projects right now, or new grants right now, I think we need to wait and let the new person go after what they want to do. I don't think they should be working off of somebody else's stuff. That's just my opinion.
The questions? Motion?
Motion what?
Or are we motioning to move forward with the EDA grant or whatever the motion is going to be?
How much time do we have on this?
Hardly none.
Well, I said how I feel.
I need a motion. Mm-hmm.
Motion. Okay, I make a motion to move forward on it.
Need a second? All right, that motion does not move forward.
Mr. Chairman, since the board removed this motion, number 8, 9, 10, and 11, you guys could also remove those because it was all contingent upon that grant. So it's over with.
$12, to discuss for possible consideration terms and conditions for a lease agreement with Lamar State College, Port Arthur, for rental space at 549 4th Street.
Yes, I'm asking the board to approve renting to Lamar at the rate of $1.42 per square foot. They have 7,810 square feet. That would be $11,105 per month, $133,260 per annum.
How long is your lease?
The terms we are proposing that the board asked us to go back and narrow down, said that the first lease would be for 2 years, and after 2 years, we would adjust that cap.
And the rate?
If necessary.
I have a question.
Yes.
What's the proposed rate for the city with the, what was that amount?
We are still working on that. We still have.
No, what was the first?
I think it was about $7,800, $7,900 a month, right? I'm not sure. I don't have that one in front of me.
I need to know the square footage that.
You like the square footage of the EOC?
And
that's 6,267 square
Lamar's?
feet. Lamar's is 7,810.
And what was the dollar amount, square footage for the city?
EOC, we're still negotiating that, but currently.
What was the first one?
The first one was about 90 cents a square foot. But again, we were still waiting on some things to come in as far as like the price of spectrum every month, the phone system and things like that, so that's still being negotiated and it will increase from that amount.
And what is the amount for the equipment that we putting in there for Lamar?
For Lamar, it's amortized at 120 months at $4,825, and it's included in that $1.42 per square foot.
It's included.
It's included in that 142 per square
Over
foot.
a period of, we spoke to the manufacturer commissioner, and the manufacturer, the life of the equipment was 10 years, is that right?
Correct.
10 years, and we amortized it over a 10-year period, and we included in the price of the square footage.
So when you add in the price of the equipment, the audio-visual equipment, the common area maintenance, and the rent, it's $11,105 per month for Lamar, which is $133,260 per year, which equates to $1.42 per square foot.
Other questions?
We have to also remember that Lamar's a partner. It's a new curriculum. I got it.
And
The motion.
So move.
I've been moved in second that we move forward with the lease agreement for Lamar State College, Port Arthur. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 13. We're going to take an executive session. And at this time, we will close our open meeting and move to executive session. A closed meeting or executive session will be held pursuant to the following sections of Chapter 551 Texas Government Code. Section 071, Section 072, Section 074, and Section 087. I'm ready to reconvene the special meeting for the Port Arthur EDC. May I have a roll call, please, Mr.? Yes, sir. Here.
Here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Baptiste. We had agenda item number 13 that we discussed in executive session, and we are going to table that. I think that's what we said in there. We're going to table that, but we want to discuss a letter that was requested to be discussed in open session by Mr. Baptiste, and that is his letter to rescind his resignation. Mr. Baptiste, if you would go ahead and just make a statement again, and then we'll have the discussion about that.
Oh, yes, sir. As I said to the board earlier, I met with some folks, I had called people from the city of Port Arthur, not the city, but people from this community. And, they took me to lunch, about 7 of them. And I think I shared that with you, Mr. Petrie.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I did. And, they asked, what I heard from them is now is not the time. This community is about to make a change, and they certainly know the impact that this organization plays in the change that this communities have made, and they asked that if I would stay a little longer. I thought about it, and I made a decision to send you guys a letter.
Any questions, comments from the board about the letter, the discussion? This is the time for that discussion.
I'll say a couple of things. I've been on this board for about 5 years, I think, something like that. And it's been an honor for me to serve on this board, and it's been a pleasure for me to work with Mr. Baptiste. So that's all I can say. I don't know about history. I don't know about none of that stuff. All I know is what I see with my own eyes and hear with my own ears. And it's been a pleasure, the whole experience that I've had. That's all I can tell you. So I don't have anything bad to say.
Anybody else want to say anything? Okay, well, I'll say this. In the consideration and thinking about everything and how it goes, I've had some conversations with a number of different people concerning this very thing. And I pondered and kind of thought about it, and I do see the value that Mr. Baptiste brings to this organization and the direction that the organization is going in. I know how just about everybody on the board feels about how we should move forward with this. And, I just hope that we can make a decision that, that's beneficial, not just to us, but beneficial to the city and to the longevity of what we're trying to accomplish here in this city of Port Arthur. So that's where I am with that. As far as how I don't know, it wasn't an agenda item. I don't, what we can actually do with this or anything like that. So that we can actually take action on it.
I thought you said we could vote now.
I did. I thought y'all wanted to table the request for qualification. So since you tabled that agenda item, there's nothing else to act on. That was still open. You could have either.
Okay, well, we didn't vote to table it, and he can't table it by himself, so it's still open.
Okay, then y'all can vote on this if you'd like to.
When I asked the question about tabling it, nobody said anything. Now all of a sudden we didn't say that.
All I'm telling you out here in open session, we listening right now. And at the end of the day, we didn't vote on it. I know I didn't hear a motion. I didn't hear a second.
It don't matter if it's tabled to me or not.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I'll make sure I'm understanding, because I want every option available to all of us. So I want to understand, are you telling me we can take action?
Yes, I said you could take action. There was concern that there wasn't a specific agenda item. So it's the pleasure of the board. If you want a specific agenda item, all we have to do is, at your next meeting, have a specific agenda item to act on Mr. Batista's letter.
Can we act tonight?
I just said you could.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure he wants a resolution more than everybody else to get this, One of the concerns I have, I've only been back on this board for 4 months, and 5 months, and ever since I've been here, we've been dealing with this for 5 months. I've never seen a situation like this. And we have to just make a decision. Either he's going to continue working here. Nobody wanted to terminate Mr. Baptiste. Nobody ever. I never heard no one say that. I haven't. Now maybe somebody else heard that, but I know I haven't. I haven't heard anyone say that. As a matter of fact, I've heard just the opposite, almost begging him to stay. I know I did, over and over and over. Rethink about it, pray on it. That's a fact. But at some point, decisions has to be made. We can't just continue going on there, because the uncertainty is very unstable. And in my opinion, I'm looking at this thing. I'm taking personalities and personal out of this. It's business for me. It's not fair to the staff to wonder what's going to go on. The employees, I don't think it's fair to them. Everybody knows there's something lurking in the wind, but don't know what's gonna happen and all this. Quite frankly, I couldn't work here under those circumstances. I couldn't, not knowing what's gonna happen.
Let's go ahead and put a motion on the floor, and then we'll take a vote. So I need a motion concerning the letter of resignation.
I'll make a motion to rescind Floyd's letter of resignation.
I need a second. There'll be no second. So how does that work? That mean it's dead? We accept it?
That's lack of a second.
All right, so in that case, we don't accept the rescind of the resignation. Okay, make another motion, somebody, to deny it. Make a motion to deny it. Okay, make a motion to deny it. I need a motion. To not accept the rescinding of the resignation. Is there a motion for that? That means we don't accept the fact that he wants to pull his resignation, opposite of your motion.
If you don't get a motion on it, we'll just have to bring it back.
No motion?
Wait a minute.
This is the motion against what John just put out there, to accept the resignation.
Accept it or to, I mean,
Well,
accepting the rescind or what?
it would be, he was trying to get it to accept the rescinding of the resignation. Nobody seconded.
Okay.
Now we need a motion on the opposite side of that, if there be a motion.
Why'd it have to be a motion if it wasn't?
So we can vote on it?
Well,
You have to still have a motion, just because it died for lack of second, it still doesn't get a majority vote to push it through. So it's just dead unless someone makes a motion refusing the rescission. But if no one wants to do that, then we have to move on and continue it another meeting.
Let me clearly understand, okay? If his motion to, because I just want to understand, if his motion to kick out, to rescind it, Mr. John said that he wanted us to not accept the resignation, is what I'm understanding. Is that correct? Okay. He didn't get a second, so it died. So that tells me that we didn't accept the resignation, the rescinding of the resignation, so that means the resignation is still good.
You have to have a motion on the opposite.
So, okay, so someone has to make a motion saying that we do not accept the resignation. No, saying that we do, that we deny the rescind resignation and get a second and vote, and that's it?
Yes.
Okay, I got you. Okay. Then you gotta have a majority.
Need a motion.
make a motion.
All right, it's been moved and second that we deny the rescind of the resignation. And do we need a roll call vote, or we can just do a regular vote? Let's do a roll call vote. No.
What does that no mean?
That I don't agree with the motion.
Huh?
That I don't agree with the motion.
You don't agree? No.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So we will not accept the letter of resignation. We'll move forward with our process that we had in mind. I now need a motion to close.
Chairman, can I speak?
Go right ahead.
Okay, now that you guys have not accepted the letter of resignation, what's the next step?
Well,
May I ask?
Well, you've given us a letter that said you would be here to the end of the fiscal year. So,
Right.
you know, you'll be here till then, and then we'll start the process to get a replacement.
Okay. Okay.
Is that correct? I need a motion to close. Moved and second to adjourn this meeting. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Good night, all.